A ski slope on top of a working power plant. The 10 greenest cities on Earth. There's a city that built a ski slope on top of a working power plant. Another heats its streets with volcanic water. And one capital has more bicycles than residents. Its harbor clean enough to swim in. From a tiny capital that banned all cars to a megacity that's greener than the countryside around it, these 10 cities prove that sustainability isn't sacrifice. These are the 10 greenest cities in the world, and the reasons they top the list will surprise you. Number 10. Ljubljana, Slovenia. Most people can't pronounce it, and fewer can find it on a map. But this capital of just 290,000 people quietly became the greenest city in Central Europe. In 2016, Ljubljana won the European Green Capital Award, beating Paris, Berlin, and Rome. The turning point was a decision that everyone said would kill the economy. In 2007, the mayor banned all cars from the historic center. Business owners protested. They predicted foot traffic would vanish. The opposite happened. Retail revenue in the car-free zone actually increased. Today, Ljubljana has the largest car-free center in the EU. 12 hectares of pedestrian streets, outdoor cafes, and riverfront promenades. But transport is just one piece. The city separates 69.5% of household waste, the highest rate in the EU. It became the first EU capital to join the Zero Waste Europe network. And it installed a pneumatic underground waste system that eliminates garbage trucks entirely. For a city most travelers skip on their European itinerary, Ljubljana punches impossibly far above its weight. Number 9. Curitiba, Brazil. In a country known for deforestation, Curitiba is an environmental miracle. This city of 1.9 million people invented something that 200 cities have since copied: bus rapid transit. In 1974, visionary Mayor Jamie Lerner designed tube-shaped boarding stations that work like subway doors. Passengers pay before boarding, and buses load in seconds. Today, 75% of commuters use BRT daily, and only 26% of trips are by private car. But Curitiba's green story goes deeper than transit. The city has 52 square meters of green space per person, among the highest in the world. Since the 1970s, it has planted 1.5 million trees and built 28 public parks. The most innovative program? The Green Exchange. In low-income neighborhoods, residents trade 4 kilograms of recyclable waste for 1 kilogram of fresh produce. This single program simultaneously solves waste management, food insecurity, and unemployment, creating over 2,000 formal jobs. Curitiba's recycling rate hits 70%, compared to Brazil's national average of around 4%. This isn't a wealthy European city with unlimited budgets. This is proof that ingenuity beats money. Number 8. Stockholm, Sweden. Sweden has a problem most countries would love. It recycles so efficiently that it imports garbage from other countries. Less than 1% of Swedish household waste ends up in landfills. And Stockholm is where that circular philosophy reaches its most ambitious form. The Hammarby Sjöstad district is the world's most famous eco-neighborhood. Built on a former industrial wasteland, this 25,000 resident community runs on a closed loop. Combustible waste heats the district. Sewage generates biogas for buses. Purified wastewater provides heat recovery. Automated pneumatic tubes eliminate garbage trucks. The entire system is called the Hammarby model, and cities from Beijing to Melbourne have studied it. Stockholm was also the first city to win the European Green Capital Award back in 2010. Its metro and commuter rail run on 100% renewable electricity. Every bus in the fleet runs on renewable fuel. And the city has set a target for net zero emissions by 2030, one of the most aggressive timelines of any major city. When Stockholm introduced its congestion tax in 2006, 70% of residents opposed it. After a 7-month trial, a majority voted to keep it. Evidence changed minds. Number 7. Zurich, Switzerland. Zurich is the richest city on Earth by purchasing power, and it's proof that wealth doesn't have to mean waste. Despite being able to afford anything, Zurich's residents voluntarily choose public transit at rates that would shock American planners. Over 67% of commuters use the city's 170-kilometer tram network. The car ownership rate is one of the lowest among wealthy cities globally. But what makes Zurich truly unique is the 2000 Watt Society initiative. The goal is to reduce every resident's total energy consumption to a continuous 2,000 watts, roughly the current global average, and less than half of Switzerland's current usage. The Green City District is a living laboratory for this concept, a fully certified 2,000 watt neighborhood where buildings, transport, and consumption are designed around radical efficiency. Zurich also runs almost entirely on hydroelectric power from alpine rivers. Its recycling rate exceeds 50%. The lake is clean enough to drink from, and residents swim in it every summer. The insight here is powerful. The world's wealthiest city chose restraint over excess. That's a decision, not an accident. We're halfway through the countdown, and a pattern is emerging. The greenest cities aren't necessarily the richest. A Slovenian capital of 290,000 people outranks megacities. A Brazilian city proved you don't need money, you need ideas. From here, the green ambitions get even bigger. Number 6. Vienna, Austria. Vienna has been ranked the world's most livable city for over a decade. And a major reason is something most visitors don't see. The city grows its own food. Vienna operates 2,000 hectares of organic farmland within its city limits, making it one of Austria's largest organic producers. 27% of the city's arable land is farmed organically, the highest rate among European capitals. But it's the green space that defines the experience. Over 50% of Vienna's surface area is parks, forests, and gardens. The Vienna Woods aren't just a park. They're a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve forming a complete green belt around the city. And Vienna pioneered something that transformed urban transit across Europe, the €365 annual pass. €1 per day for unlimited public transport. When launched, ridership surged past private car ownership for the first time in 2019. The city's district heating network, one of Europe's largest, serves 440,000 households. And the Spitalo waste incineration plant? It was redesigned by artist Friedensreich Hundertwasser into a colorful landmark that tourists actually visit. Vienna turns infrastructure into art. Number 5. Amsterdam, Netherlands. Amsterdam ranked number 1 on the 2024 Arcadis Sustainable Cities Index, the most comprehensive global sustainability ranking. The reason isn't just the bicycles, though Amsterdam does have more bikes than people. 881,000 bicycles versus 873,000 residents. What sets Amsterdam apart is its circular economy strategy. The city aims to have raw material consumption by 2030 and become fully circular by 2050. This goes beyond recycling. It means fundamentally rethinking how the city produces, consumes, and disposes of everything. The floating neighborhood of Skunship is the most visible example. 22 homes built on water, completely energy neutral, with shared heat pumps and solar panels. Amsterdam has also announced one of the world's most aggressive vehicle bans. All petrol and diesel cars will be prohibited from the city center starting in 2030. And here's the deeper story. Amsterdam's canal ring isn't just beautiful. It's a 400-year-old water management system that has been controlling flooding since the 1600s. The city has been engineering climate resilience for centuries. The sustainability movement just gave it a modern vocabulary. Number 4. Oslo, Norway. Oslo is sometimes called the EV capital of the world, and the numbers explain why. In 2024, 90% of all new cars sold in Norway were electric. In Oslo specifically, 40% of all vehicles on the road are already EVs. The city electrified 85% of its bus fleet in just 6 years, going from zero electric buses in 2018 to near total electrification, cutting bus-related CO2 emissions by 95%. But Oslo's green transformation goes far beyond vehicles. The city is 74% green space, the highest of any European capital by land area. 95% of residents live within 300 meters of a park, and the city has removed over 1,000 parking spaces from the center, replacing them with bike lanes, pocket parks, and even urban bee habitats, creating a literal bee highway through downtown. The paradox of Oslo is impossible to ignore. Norway's sovereign wealth fund, the world's largest at $1.7 trillion, was built entirely on oil and gas revenue. Yet Oslo itself runs almost completely on hydroelectric power and is targeting a 95% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions by 2030. It's the oil capital that decided to quit oil. Number 3. Reykjavik, Iceland. Reykjavik is the only capital city on Earth powered entirely by renewable energy, and it has been for decades. This isn't a recent climate pledge. It's the result of a transition that began in 1930, when the city first started piping volcanic hot water into homes. By the 1970s, geothermal district heating had completely replaced oil. Today, 90% of all buildings in Iceland are heated by geothermal energy, and 100% of electricity comes from renewables, 73% hydro, and 27% geothermal. The scale of carbon savings is staggering. 135 million tons of CO2 avoided since transitioning away from fossil fuel heating. And Reykjavik does something that sounds absurd until you see it. The city heats its sidewalks and driveways with geothermal hot water to prevent ice. Heated streets. In a country where winter temperatures drop well below freezing. But because the energy is renewable, it's effectively carbon neutral. Reykjavik's biggest remaining challenge is actually transportation. Cars still run on imported fossil fuels, making road transport the country's largest emissions source. Even the world's cleanest energy grid can't fix everything overnight. Number 2. Singapore. Singapore is the third most densely populated country on Earth. Nearly 6 million people live in just 733 square kilometers. Logic says it should be a concrete jungle. Instead, nearly 48% of Singapore is covered in greenery, and that number is rising. Singapore evolved from a garden city in the 1960s to a city in a garden in the 2000s to its current vision, a city in nature. The most dramatic symbol is Gardens by the Bay. The 18 super trees, structures up to 50 meters tall covered in 226,000 plants across 200 species, aren't decorative. They generate solar energy, collect rainwater, and vent hot air from the conservatories below. They are functioning environmental machines disguised as art. Singapore has over 1,180 Green Mark certified buildings and 300 kilometers of green corridor connecting parks across the island. And here's the fact that stuns urban planners. Singapore is one of only 2 cities in the world, alongside Hong Kong, that has increased its green cover while simultaneously increasing population density. Most cities face a green space versus housing trade-off. Singapore solved it by going vertical, green walls, rooftop gardens, and sky terraces on everything from hospitals to housing blocks. Singapore didn't inherit nature. It engineered it. Number 1. Copenhagen, Denmark. Copenhagen appears on more green city rankings than any other city on Earth. And the numbers make it clear why. 62% of Copenhagen residents commute by bicycle. The city has 675,000 bicycles versus 120,000 cars, a ratio of more than 5-to-1. And 75% of cyclists ride year-round, including through Danish winters. Since 2005, Copenhagen has cut CO2 emissions by 72.6%. 98% of buildings are connected to district heating, and 45% of all trips, not just commutes, are made by bicycle. But what makes Copenhagen the number 1 greenest city isn't just policy, it's imagination. Copenhagen is a waste-to-energy plant that processes 440,000 tons of waste per year. On its roof, the architects built a ski slope, a hiking trail, and a climbing wall. A functioning power plant that doubles as a public recreation space. That single building captures everything about Copenhagen's approach. Sustainability shouldn't feel like sacrifice. The harbor, once an industrial waterway too polluted to touch, is now clean enough for swimming. Free public saltwater pools sit in the middle of the old port. Copenhagen set out to become carbon neutral by 2025, and it narrowly missed that target when a key carbon capture facility lost government funding. The 72.6% reduction is extraordinary by any measure. But Copenhagen's honesty about falling short of 100% is itself a lesson. Even the world's greenest city is still fighting for the last mile. From Ljubljana's car-free streets to Copenhagen's ski slope power plant, the 10 greenest cities in 2026 share one thing in common. They didn't wait for technology to save them. They made decisions. Ban the cars, heat the sidewalks, build a ski slope on a factory, trade garbage for groceries. Every city on this list proves the same point. Sustainability isn't about having the biggest budget. It's about having the biggest imagination. The greenest cities aren't just surviving. They're thriving. Which city's green story surprised you the most? And is your hometown doing anything that could land it on a future list? Drop your answer in the comments. If you want to see how these cities compare on safety, cost of living, or quality of life, subscribe. We rank the world every single week.